Here we go.
You do not hate gaming journalists nearly enough. Allow me to introduce Hassan Piker's biggest glazer of all time, Alyssa Mercante. All right, Miss Conte over here has been crashing out over Asmongold. She's been banned off YouTube apparently, and now she is saying that the reason why she's getting hate is because of people like me, because of people like Asmongold, because of all sorts of people that are sending her death threats. And
we are 25 seconds into an hour long. 25 seconds into this and just wrong, just complete wrong information. Not banned off of YouTube, simply a video was temporarily taken down. Like, how do you go from a video being taken down to banned off YouTube? Love how he calls her the #1 Hassan Glazer when he has more videos on Hassan. And also, are we trying to pretend that you didn't make like a billion videos with you and Jaden Animations? Like, and also, I love the fact that he's inserting himself into this as if he was ever mentioned by Alyssa by name. Like, bro, you're not on the team? And he's like, oh, she's trying to come for people like me, like Asmongold, my brother in Christ. No one's coming. What? No one's coming for you, man.
And she's cry bullying her way to the sun, trying her absolute best to be all woke and awesome. And she is using wokeness as her weapon in order to criticize every person that beeps with. She's apparently suing YouTubers like this guy Smash JT, someone in my chat just told me. This is very fun. We are watching a gigantic crash out, the likes of which you have never seen.
Cool. Again, 48 seconds, not even a minute into this. You are not informed on anything you're talking about. Like, holy shit. Wokeness, using wokeness as a defense. I hope you explain what that means. You probably don't. Also, weird that you're using a Red X mask, but that's just me personally. I think that's strange. Like, Teen Titans is, okay, whatever.
Is she a Texas supporter? I don't know if she is, but she supports terrorist supporters. She is trying her absolute best to sleep with Hassan Piker, and I will show you evidence of that today. In fact, it probably happened already. Because hell yeah, dude, that's the move. So let's go.
What the fuck are you talking about?
To her, to be fair, skill issue. You're defending someone on the internet for getting hate threats. Oh no, is someone on the internet criticizing you when you criticize them first? I'm sorry, bro. Asmongold would not be sending her hate mobs if she wouldn't have started the fucking hate mob bullshit. All right.
Oh my god, you guys! I don't think I'm gonna do this. It's a minute and 20. I don't even think there's no way people take him seriously. No one can take him seriously, right? I'm not into VTubing. Please tell me no one takes this man seriously. No one takes a man who yells out skill issue for getting hate. No one, please no. Please no. Please tell me no one takes him seriously. And this is just a joke and I'm wasting my time. I'm okay with wasting my time if no one's taking him seriously.
Let's lock in. All right, first let's see the beef with Asmongold, then we look into her trying to suck Hassan's dick for clout.
Conte made her
Jesus
first
Christ.
edited video on YouTube, and it got banned by YouTube for bullying and harassment.
Okay, we've already seen this part, so.
Can't make this shit up.
That's amazing, bro. Her first ever YouTube video got banned for bullying and harassment, and then she's gonna cry after other people send mobs to her. Sorry, bro. Freedom of speech means I am allowed to make fun of whoever the f I want on the internet, and I firmly actually believe in a certain doctrine that you should definitely subscribe to. I fully support making fun of retards, because if you're a retard and you're not made fun of, it means you're.
Wait, so did he censor it and then just uncensored it the second time he said it?
Support making fun of retards, because if you're a retard and you're not made fun of, it means your reputation goes unchecked. So I firmly believe we should be making fun of you, which is why I'm doing it right now. Will my video send hate mobs to her? Probably. I condemn it. Do not send incredible hate threats at her or any of that bullshit. Don't do it.
Okay, I'm 2 minutes in. I'm not gonna make it to this video. I'm not gonna fucking make it. But like, you have no. This is like almost tertiary evidence here, because Asmongold didn't even watch the video and he's already reacting to that. So he's reacting to information that he doesn't have, and then you're reacting to Asmongold, who's reacting to information that he doesn't have. and you have even less information, and you are ready to go on like, up, skill issue, up, don't send amazing hate. Like, oh my God, this, I'm probably gonna get 10 minutes into this. I'm gonna just start calling him names.
Will it happen anyway? Probably. Is that life? Yes. Does that mean I don't have the right to talk about you? No. Anyway, this is very fun. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, man. That's just too bad, right? This would have never happened if she didn't start doing this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I firmly agree completely 100% with
What
man over here.
What is he even adding to this? Let's just skip this part because I've already seen like the Asmongold video. So we can just, oh wait, let's go to this part.
I'm starting a YouTube channel. Here's a sneak peek at my first thumbnail. So she's gonna make a video about how I smell bad?
Yeah! It's always the people in glass houses every single time. I have so much empathy, and this is why I support terrorists.
What the fuck is he talking about? So, hey, I said I'll be me in 10 minutes. I'm gonna be nice-ish. Hey, man of questionable taste and background, you just said it was okay for you to make fun of people to check their, you know what levels. So when it happens to your molding king that you obviously want to, be attached to, suddenly it's glass houses. Suddenly it's glass houses. Interesting how if it's happening to your beloved molding piece of shit Asmongold, I don't have to be nice to him. He fucking sucks. It's suddenly, no, we can't do that. Isn't that always how it works? Rules for thee, not for me.
She legitimately looks insane and she physically threatened people. Listen, it's the leftist talking points every single time. I am allowed to physically threaten you because you're a Nazi, and you are not allowed to physically threaten me, or I'm a victim. It's the classic strategy.
Okay, first off, that's not a classic strategy. Secondly, yeah, dude, Nazis deserve their shit kicked in. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And if we're being real, cry bully tactics is almost like in the complete domain of the people on the right. Like, we're seeing that from the literal government. And,
to check, and this right here is the worst thing Baldy said about her.
I bet she smells worse than I do.
And this is what Baldy said on the very first clip about her Sweet Baby Ink article.
Disagreement is not harassment. Whenever people are disagreeing and saying you're full of shit, that's not harassment. Nobody supports actual harassment.
And while my clients...
That is not agreed. Oh my God. Okay, you know, not nice anymore. Nux, you're a fucking moron. You're a fucking moron who clearly only does this shit for attention because your other shit was failing and wasn't popping off, so you went to the grift. Because Asmongold just saying, oh, no one supports harassment is a fucking lie because you two actively support harassment. Secondly, it wasn't just people critiquing her. That's the bullshit people always say online. Whenever it's a person getting obvious harassment, they say people critiquing isn't harassment. We know. That's why we're not going after people who are critiquing people. When it's people sending death threats, people talking about how they're going to like sexually assault someone, like that, those are threats. That is what's being condemned. That is what people are talking about and fighting against. But you guys are pussies and are too bitch made to say that. So you want to, your audience captured. So you want to be like, oh well, no, they're just criticism. Which tells me you also do not know what criticism is.
Agreed. I don't want you to go harass her. Okay, I don't.
He's obviously lying though. He's obviously lying because he literally just said, it doesn't matter. Skill issue.
But I do support you calling her a retard. I know. These are the things you're not allowed to say on the internet because you have to say that you condemn your audience calling people retards. I don't. I do not condemn that. If you, with your own mind, think
also, it's so funny that faceless fucking right-wing VTubers will get so buck and say this shit only because their face isn't out there. You guys are too pussy to say these kinds of shit with your face out there. I am saying this right now. You guys are fucking babies. You cannot put your own face to the words you're claiming. You're saying some hateful stuff because you know it won't blow back on you in a way that can affect your real life, because you are some weird PNG tuber who's now become a VTuber who is using what looks like an altered version of Sans from Undertale, and then the mask from the red mask from Teen Titans. Like, cool identity you came up with, so original.
He's a retard.
So edgy.
Freedom of speech. Just say what you think, guys. Just say what you think. No threats. That's out of pocket. But if they're a retard, tell them.
Conduct has been exemplary.
It would be good if people could actually just post arguments rather than just insulting each other. So
She mindlessly continued elevating the temperature with statements such as these.
And if you have a problem
Oh my god, I remember this bitch.
with that, come fight me physically, bitch.
Oh, she did the thing. Dude, I called her a bitch last time she had drama, and I had hate threads trying to cancel me for being mean to women by calling them bitch. She said bitch first.
Wait a minute. I remember you. Weren't you the guy who tried to get that like pedo dude to draw for you? And didn't you show people CSAM? Like, isn't that what you did? And didn't you also try to get people to say the N-word or whatever? Like, I don't think you want to start playing this game, my guy. Like, I don't think you want to do this. I do not think you want to do this. They try to cancel you for calling people bitches. They probably try to cancel you because you're kind of dog shit.
And she is a bitch. I actually think that you should call women bitches if they're bitches. I don't know why this is like a rude thing. If they're a bitch, why shouldn't you call them a bitch? That's what they are. They did it by being a bitch.
because you're doing this on purpose.
True.
You are being a bully. Didn't she try to take away your Capcom sponsorship for Dragon's Dogma 2? I don't know if
She's out there. She tries to cancel people because they voted for Trump.
What is this? First off, I thought someone just simply retweeting something wasn't considered anything, right? That's what you guys always say. But secondly, and most importantly, why are you just adding shit together, dude? Like, oh my, I cannot make it. I cannot make this an hour. There's no way. There's no way there's an hour of this. There's no conceivable way this is an hour long. Like, we're still on this. We're still on this. What the?
She lost her job because every game that she was hired to help work on lost all their money.
Wait, what?
And whining and screaming and
be uploaded. No, I'm not gonna watch it. Then she's probably gonna try to DMCA me for the video. Do you think I'd actually play into that trap? I know what people like this do. I know how they think.
I actually have something better.
She lost her job. Skill issue. If she wouldn't be bitching and crying and whining and screaming and yelling and trying to deplatform people and slandering and yelling and supporting terrorist simps, I think she wouldn't have lost her job.
He has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about.
If you lose your job, it's a skill issue. It's a skill issue.
Yeah, you guys, if you lose your job, it's a skill issue. Sorry. If you're a game developer and you worked for like a big company and you gave them a hit and they still fired you because they wanted to make more money, and by cutting the bottom line, cutting your paycheck and firing you, they make more money. That's your skill issue.
She lost her job because every game that she was hired to help work on lost all their money.
Hey, so you really so you really are a moron. You really are a moron who has no idea what they're talking about. What game was she hired to work on? Are you conflating maybe Sweet Baby Inc? Nux, are you conflating a consulting company with someone who was a games reporter, who was a senior editor for Kotaku? Maybe you don't have any idea what you're talking about, and you are proving it by straight up making shit up. She didn't work for games. Like, what?
Good. I firmly agree with firing people if they're not good at what they do. I don't know why this is a controversial take. Look, I'm a capitalist. I am, and I'm not scared to say it. Like all the fucking bullshit people on the internet. You see Hassan Piker in his $3 million mansion preaching about how no one should have the right to own property. Right, dude? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you miss me with that shit.
What? I can't. No, I can't. You're not a hypocrite. You're a fucking moron. I can't do this. I can't do this. I got 7 minutes in. He's so bad at this.
You know, I think I'm on the right side of history when I managed to piss off someone who regularly spews out neo-Nazi and hateful rhetoric.
Hey, someone calling out neo-Nazi right-winger VTubers in the VTubing space? Hell yeah, let's watch all of this.
As well as another person who's pro-Holocaust
Jesus Christ.
and anti-woke.
Okay, I do not understand how people on the anti-woke, right-wing, Nazi side, whatever you want to call them, how they are so against like trans people, but they are okay with a alleged cis male cosplaying as an emo goth like vampire anime waifu. You guys are just okay with that. That's okay and normal and fine. It just blows my mind. Also, Reb says Des fucking sucks as an idiot.
It just seems like, oh, I don't know, that I'm winning in the morality department. Sure, I don't got the large numbers that they do because reactionary content is all the craze at the moment. But honestly,
yeah, is she calling me out? No, I'm not a reactionary. I do other stuff.
I prefer my community to be full of normal, queer-friendly people rather than those who will
Same.
falsely claim that I am a PDF, a commie, that I am supposedly trans and will never be a real woman, that I sound like a man, or a, quote, white left supremacist with toxic...
Yet people like Hassan get away. Bro, these people have Hassan on the brain 24/7. It's like they all watch. It's obviously because like Asmongold and shit, right? Like they all watch those people, and then whoever they deem the enemy, they'll just throw them in there. It's like when like racist white guys will see like a white woman who's like thick, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, but you just love the BBC just coming for you and whatever," right? Like it's just this insanity where they have a derangement, and they're just like, "Oh well." People like Hassan get away with terms of service. I don't see you talking about him. Where's that same energy? Oh yeah, you're a white left supremacist with toxic femininity. What is a white left supremacist? That's such an incongruous statement and makes no goddamn sense. Someone please explain to what is a white left supremacist.
Femininity. I am like none of these things, but I can tell you who I am. Hi everyone, my name is Saphera Denoma, but you can call me Saf. I wasn't expecting to make a video like this one today, but I figure I'd address a few things. I did want to make a short video regarding Kirsch's one-day Twitch ban, but it seems like this will have to be
Is it Kirsch's? I thought it was Kirsha. Whatever.
a video about two closely related subjects instead. If you don't know what's been going on, let's just start with Kirsha and her recent Twitch ban. Kirsha is a Fox VTuber who garnered quite a bit of notoriety over the past month or so,
For being a
mostly
Nazi.
with the harmful rhetoric she spews, which ranges from calling people the equivalent of illegals, advocating for mass deportation, believing in the Great Replacement theory.
They're building like a 2.5 million pound mosque somewhere in like northern England that doesn't even have like a large Muslim population. And I was like, of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. I get increasingly angry when I see people who are just like, well, they're not doing anything illegal, so like you can't really be mad at them. It's like this is very clearly a hostile takeover.
I forgot she said this shit. Oh my god, you're so stupid. A hostile takeover by building a mosque, a singular mosque. They're taking over northern England, a place I don't live in, but I can tell you it's a hostile takeover because why else would they build a mosque there if not to take over?
Like, we're experiencing it in the US via illegal immigration. They're experiencing it in the UK via, like, the migrant crisis nonsense and refugees, which, potato, basically the same fucking thing. And it's like...
Oh, you're stupid. You're equating something according to one's illegal and one's, like, a migrant crisis, but they're the same thing. People are migrants. They're not illegal. And...
Our politicians are assisting these people with both demographic replacement as well as just making citizens' lives.
Okay, so demographic replacement is code word for the Great Replacement. By demographic, they're talking about white demographics. That needs to be very clear here. Kirsha or a Kirsch or a Fox girl, whatever, dumbass, is always talking about the great replacement theory because she is a white nationalist. No matter what she tries to tell you, that is the rhetoric she's putting out.
Worse in general. They're changing the entire culture of these countries. It might not be a hostile takeover like you see in war. There's no guns.
You just said it was.
And bombs, but it is still a hostile takeover. It is still going to change these countries irreparably in the future. UK, it's almost all of Europe. I'm specifically speaking of the UK because of the mosque thing.
Calls trans people autogynephiliac males. Agrees with Asmongold that all trans kids are a victim of a parent with mental illness.
I'm sorry. There's no one who can speak less about a mental illness than Asmongold when you look at how he lives. He literally fell through the roof of his house because something smelled, something broke through the dank stench of decay and rot in his house that triggered his "this is different" alarm, went up there and fell through the goddamn roof because he thought it was, I believe he said it was like a dead animal. And he's calling out people for having mental illness. Like, okay, but that's trans kids. What's your excuse? What's your excuse?
Agrees with Asmongold that all trans kids are a victim of a parent with mental illness. Advocates and supports violence against people whose ideologies or behavior she disagrees with, such as retweeting about this one man who shot 2 peaceful environmental protesters dead. And she even advocated for unaliving commies with this tweet saying, "Happy Otoya Yamaguchi Day," with a mock-up of the murder using small versions of her fox self.
Also, she in a video game, she couldn't not use the name of like a famous white supremacist. Like it's all the same shit, dude.
And when confronted, she doubled down it was communism when, in fact, the murdered chairman was part of the Japanese Socialist Party, which is different from the Japanese Communist Party that was formed 20 years prior to the actual Socialist Party. So this girl doesn't even know the difference between socialism and communism. Probably
they never do.
Anything on the left to her is bad. But that's ironic, given she called out a VTuber who made a joke about the assassination attempt on Trump, with Kershaw saying, quote, "Kind of grotesque to see VTubers cheering for an assassination attempt," followed by, "Take your meds, schizo R-word."
That's how it always goes. It's, we can make fun of your side. We can say, dude, that guy who killed that guy we thought was a commie, fucking based. They can call you AGPs and all that stuff, but you make a joke about Trump being assassinated or assassination attempt, and it's, how dare you guys do that? That's not cool, you guys. No. It's like that meme where it's like dark humor motherfuckers when like you make fun of rich people and they're like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's too far. But I'm gonna call you the R word."
And let's not forget Kershaw has a parody image of her as Trump in the aforementioned event. Gee, Kershaw, if assassination attempts are bad, why do you advocate and support more than 2 of them just because it aligns with your ideology? Yikes-a-roni.
Get her.
Grandstanding much? Now, there's way more about Kershaw. Regarding the neo-Nazi rhetoric, Kershaw complains she couldn't name a video game character after Anders Breivik.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about. So, okay, maybe I should let her just speak.
This neo-Nazi Norwegian terrorist convicted of killing 77 people, who she refers to affectionately as a commie killer.
It will forever make me giggle that it was a problem when my Smurf's name in Paragon was Anders Breivik. They were like, "Well, we've been getting reports about how your name is offensive, so you got to change your name." And I changed it to Umkhonto ve Sizwe, which was the propaganda military arm of Nelson Mandela that would murder his political opponents. And I was able to have that name until Paragon shut down. Not a single person question. I was like, if I can't be a nationalistic commie killer, why not just be black nationalist commies instead? You know, that's probably okay, right?
And he 100% is a neo-Nazi, having
Yes.
joined the Hail Hitler salute
Yeah,
on
yes.
camera, and is a Norwegian terrorist who bombed 8 people and killed 69 of the Workers' Youth League.
Oof. The ideology says social democracy, democratic socialism, feminism, Doesn't anything about communism.
She also is given the moderator role in Synthetic
Synthetic
Man's
Man's,
Chat,
okay, yeah.
a male streamer who also spews neo-Nazi rhetoric. Someone in chat brought up Kristallnacht, and like a normal, well-adjusted person, Kirsha joked that it was instead Kirstallnacht, which was a clear reference to the Kristallnacht earlier, or the Night of Broken Glass in English, where Nazis incited riots and destroyed property of Jewish people and incarcerating them in concentration camps for the purpose of, you know, genocide. Kirsha also retweeted and replied to one of her fans who bought and proudly displayed her plushie amidst a bunch of Nazi memorabilia.
She didn't miss that
includes
shit.
a swastika and this collection of totally not praising Hitler books. This fan in particular also admits to being a pro-white activist, said he wouldn't mind if Kirsha and another grifter VTuber became a Nazi, and Kirsha had this retweet on her page for well over 24 hours after.
Wait, what the fuck? I covered this too, but I did not see this. I didn't read this. Sorry that you and Kirsha found yourselves in some controversy due to my post. I hope it doesn't cause you too much trouble. I am a pro-white activist. That is a Nazi. That's a Nazi. A pro-white, you're a Nazi. But it's absurd how quick people are to call you two as Nazis. You obviously aren't, though it sure would be a delight if more folks were. This post was mostly meant for my friends to get a kick out of. I figured Kirsha might chuckle at it if she saw it, but I hadn't anticipated her to post it and thusly have a situation. Again, my apologies. But your intention was for her to get a chuckle out of it. Why would she get a chuckle out of you posting in front of Nazi books? Unless she finds that funny because she's also a Nazi.
Became a Nazi, and Kirsha had this retweet on her page for well over 24 hours after the initial callouts. She later posted this, basically saying she initially didn't want to delete the retweet because she didn't want to cave to, quote, cancel culture.
Such a stupid
more
reason.
like a pride problem rather than a morality problem, and that she's okay with Nazi rhetoric and, quite literally, Nazi fans being part of her community. This is only just the tip of the iceberg though, and hell, a whole video can be dedicated to Kirsha, as well as her related gamer subs drama, but that's for another time. This video is about her Twitch ban because the prevailing narrative on YouTube is that Kirsha is innocent, that it's all because of Anna Valens, a trans journalist for Vice who wrote articles about the rise of right-wing bigotry within.
Like, this whole article, which you guys saw me read, isn't even about strictly Kirsha. It's about VTubing and how it has a huge bigotry problem. And all of a sudden, you guys are like, oh, well, it's Anna's fault. It's Anna's fault. The same person you guys called irrelevant in the comment section and attack all the time, who has no motion, got her banned from Twitch. Gotta love it.
In the VTuber community, who highlighted a lot of the opinions that Kirsha and her community spew out. Now, Kirsha did threaten via a very unserious PDF document, along with a printed copy, to a Vice location, basically threatening legal action if Vice did not take down the article.
I don't want to go to court with, but if you keep calling me Nazi and keep calling out my sponsor, drop me. What's supposed to do? Seriously, Vice, is this what you want? You want me to be the PC police for VTubers? On your front page right now, you have articles about crazy horny mud truckers and how cool it is to be goth in UK right now, but my stream is too controversial. Yeah, dude, your stream talks about the fucking great replacement theory. Like, yes. Like, this is what I was talking about in my other video about them being cry bullies. They will do and say the most heinous shit, but if they face a little bit of pushback, it's, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to threaten to take you to court because how dare you post the words that I said? Like, and then tries to be like, I don't give a shit. I'll go back to streaming and you can go back to reporting on the Berlin Sex Toy Expo or whatever it is you do now. You know what they do now, which is why you're doing it in the first place. You can't act like you're nonchalant and don't keep up with what's happening. And then the second this shit happens, like, oh, I'm going to sue you. But also, I don't give a fuck. What do you guys even do? Who even knows? Who even knows? If they were like the irrelevant that you say that they are, then why would you even threaten to sue them? Like, it's so annoying.
Vice did ultimately take down the articles, but I suspect and presume that it's because a lot of companies would just rather not deal with the headache and proceed to just take down the articles in questions and just move on. It's quite normal behavior in a company if you've ever worked for one, because legal stuff is always a headache. They'd rather settle stuff out of court or avoid court altogether, if possible. Kirsha's fans rejoiced when the articles were taken down, but Anna Anna Valens still has her job and proceeded to write an article about Among Us DLC and Vampire Survivors the very same day. Now, I'll admit, regarding Anna Valens, she has quite a bit of a questionable history at times. She seems to have a rather hypersexual history, considering she is an adult-oriented creator who makes fetish content and writes adult-related articles, and has, in my opinion, put her foot in her own mouth a few times in the metaphorical way.
I feel like, though, isn't that, maybe it's just the shit that I get, but aren't like a lot of the VTubers into adult stuff? Like, I mean, I see like a bunch of their like avatars are like big titty goth moms, and a lot of them have NSFW like Twitter accounts. So I just thought that was just like a different avenue for sex work. I know that was like a weird thing that they did.
Not the fetish way, thanks. Since it'll be relevant to the dissenting commenters below, of which I'm sure there will be plenty because the hate campaign from Kersha's and Rev's fans is absolutely insane, I'll address them briefly here. Anna Valens had said incredibly exaggerated and distasteful things in the past, essentially making up a fictional scenario about breeding farms. But Anna Valens also remarks that this was said because, quote, in the middle of the pandemic, everyone was losing their shit on Twitter, and I thought it was kinda bizarre. I wanted to create a tweet that was basically so outlandish that it was outrage bait. You'd have to be blinded by rage to think I was serious, sitting there thinking all trans women are like secret gooners or something. Now, I want to clarify. I listened to the voice tweet. I cannot share it on here because it's a bit too explicit, and it is not my cup of tea, nor would I ever condone such a thing. But it's clear it's so exaggerative and hyperbolic that it literally cannot be someone's real fucking thoughts. If it is, sure, yeah, that's dangerous as hell, I'll agree with that regard, but...
Now I'm kind of curious of what the fuck that audio was. I'm not going to play it, obviously. Just curious, though.
It's not, so... Anyway, that's something the people who dislike Anna Valens will constantly bring up, so just took the time to debunk it here. Now, Kersha and her fans seem to have this weird hyperfixation on Anna Valens. I get that if someone makes an article on you, that you'd be a little bit obsessed in the moment, but after Vice took down the articles, you basically, quote, won. So why do you still obsess over her?
I'll tell you why. Thank you for queuing me up. It is because they need an enemy, and it's always better if it's someone in the media, especially if it's gaming related, because that's the new hotness. If they have a gaming enemy, oh, it's the best. Why do you think people still to this day bring up Anita Sarkeesian? They'll throw in a random Zoe Quinn in there. They will throw in Sweet Baby Inc. no matter what. Alyssa McConte, Kotaku in general, Polygon. They will always want an enemy in the game's media, because that way, anytime they face any sort of criticism, any sort of critique from a random person, they can attribute that to the media trying to slander them and come for them. It's the perfect enemy. And even when said enemy is vanquished, they will just resuscitate its corpse and just parade it around. Like, look, even after they lost last time, they're still coming after me. Like, it's just pathetic bullshit. They don't have the ability to take accountability, so they need an enemy that's consistently there. It's the classic fascist tactic, right? Enemy is both weak and powerful.
This obsession is what led Kersha to find Anna Valens' archive of our own account, which, if you don't know what AO3 is, that's the site for fanfiction of all kinds, from safe for work content to explicit adult content that is basically porn.
I'm not saying I know this from experience, but it is like almost entirely adult content.
Kersha proceeded to, while live on stream on May 13th, 2025, look at Anna's AO3 account and her works, starting off innocuously with going over the different fics, the tags, and the synopses. Now, if this is all that Kersha did, I'd argue this is well within Twitch TOS, but Twitch does not like it when you start going into the more explicit side of things, including reading quite literally details of penetration. In fact, the Twitch TOS specifically states no graphic depictions of sex acts such as erotica, and guess what Kersha did? She opened one of the fics and began scrolling through it, reading passages. She quite literally says, I don't know if I can read this, before proceeding to read it.
Fucking stupid. The thing is, they want to take these victory laps, and then when they do something on their own accord that gets them in trouble, they cannot take any accountability. So it naturally becomes, oh, well, this is Anna's fault. Anna made me read this. It's her fault. Just like in my Smash AT is a Cryblully video where he was blaming Alyssa for making him make 150 hours of content on her. It's her fault she did that. It's always someone else's fault. It's never their fault.
The following clip will be severely redacted and blurred because, you know, it's literally explicit adult material. But it's to demonstrate the audacity of this situation. She even calls it porn at the end of the near 15-minute long period going over Anna's fictions.
I don't think I can even read this. Slowly a brace enveloped. My sister fond of me. So she pressed my head in. Second by second, she closed her eyes.
Okay,
and
what is her accent? Like, I know she's doing a voice, but she also has a strange accent I cannot place.
Swallowed up ravenous. That's enough strange, mentally ill pornography for today, chat.
Now, I get Kersha hates Anna Valens for supposedly trying to ruin her career, but don't you think it's a bit
I think she's trying to
obsessive
sell
to
that
seek
too.
out the fanfic account and read aloud the smut of a person you dislike? Kersha seems almost like an obsessive toxic ex who couldn't get over the breakup and now has to actively find and smear their ex's name. I'm dead ass being for real. This kind of dynamic is something that people would ship y'all together with because it's literally just that much tension. Anyway, Kersha got banned on May 15, 2025 for a singular day for sexual content, as shown by Kersha's tweet. Kersha's caption is interesting, however, because she seems to be blaming Anna Valens for her ban, going, "Oh wow, I wonder who could be behind this," especially after that AI slop article put out about how I read Anna Valens' fanfiction. Truly a mystery. The harassers cry out as they strike you.
Cry, bully, tactics. Literally saw her violating their own terms of service, had her in her own video say, "I don't think I can read this," proceed to read this, and then surprise Pikachu face, "Oh my god, you got banned for violating terms of service. It must be Anna Valens' fault." It's the meme. The fucking meme riding the bike, putting the stick in the spokes, and blaming, you know, why did the woke leftist make me do this?
I took a look and found the offending clip as shown earlier and said, "Kersha, honey, please stop harassing Anna Valens. You earned this ban. You straight up read NSFW fanfic on your live stream. This is against Twitch TOS. Undeniably, ya dumb as fuck." And after some time hearing what nonsense her aggravated fans had to say to me, I jokingly engaged in a bit of hyperbole myself and said, "Kersha is endangering potential minors lurking in her community by reading smut on stream and still up in her YouTube VOD. Kersha is lucky that all she got was a one-day ban. This is literally disgusting."
That's actually really good.
Yes, I did say this partially as rage bait because I knew it'd piss off her fans, but the rest of my arguments is not inaccurate. I am often told Kersha has the highest restriction available and bans minors on site, but guess what, buddy? Minors don't have to be in chat, they can be lurking. This is why the no explicit NSFW rule even exists in the first place on Twitch, because unfortunately, Twitch and YouTube is not an 18+ platform, so kids are unfortunately around and present. While Kersha does have 18+ in her Twitch rules, it is oddly absent in her YouTube livestream rules considering she multi-streams. Her haters claim that I don't have 18+ in my rules, but it's quite literally in my Twitch rules and is the first thing on there, rather than Kersha's second rule, and my rules haven't changed since I started streaming in 2022. Although it does need a brush up in the year 2025, but the 18+ rule will never change because I know and am aware that I say some unsay-so things out of pocket, though not all the time.
I don't have 18+ because I feel like my age demographic from my content is like people who are wake up in the morning and their back hurts. So I feel safe. Like I don't gotta do that shit.
At the same time, though, Anna Valens was being brought up as the instigator and equally at fault for having fart ASMR content in a vor/inflation VR chat clip. The main difference at the time was that Anna Valens had the sexual themes label, which stops you from watching until you agree there may be sexual themes, and Twitch themselves say that minors will, by default, not see any channels tagged as having sexual themes. Kersha, meanwhile, had no labels when I checked right after she was unbanned. As of making this script on the evening of May 18, 2025, there does seem to be a copious amount of labels added to her Twitch stream, presumably to prevent further instances against her, so good for her, I suppose. But it is unclear whether these were present on the day of the stream. Anna Valens did, also, get a one-day Twitch ban for sexual content, and I suspect it's because of that vor/inflation clip, because it was honestly quite egregious.
Hey, there's nothing you wouldn't see in an episode of Totally Spies, okay? If you guys know, you know.
And the VR chat model in question was dressed in a skimpy outfit. Personally, I see this as fair for both sides, because these two things, such as reading smut live on stream about penetration and disturbing prolonged fetish content, are things I wouldn't condone ever on Twitch, regardless of who does it and their political affiliation. And honestly, that's kind of all I had to say about Kersha's ban. That she deserved it. Her fans didn't like me saying that reading smut is against the rules on Twitch, often claiming that she was doing it because Anna Valens wrote it, that it's public, that it was educational and newsworthy.
You have to be a moron to believe that, which I guess would track for her audience. But yeah, just because someone wrote something doesn't mean it's suddenly educational. Just because it's public doesn't mean you have to read it. That's so stupid. So I just want to let you know the reason you're being a hypocrite is because Twitch is also a hypocrite about policies. She was not reading any of this for the purpose of sexual entertainment. It was all for educational purposes and news purposes, no different than CNN or MSNBC. When is the last time you saw CNN or MSNBC go to AO3 and read like vor porn? What would be the purpose of going to AO3 and for educational purposes? What was she educating you on? Someone else's writing? That's not educational. But their fans are clearly like 11 years old.
And I'm just here like, y'all really dumb as bricks, aren't you? If you're a normal person, genuinely, tell me, do you think reading and showing explicit depictions of sex, even in written form, is allowed? Normal people are gonna say no, because that's straight up corn. But Kersha doubled down, saying, are they afraid I will read more of Anna's fan fiction? Why would that be a problem? Anna posted the fan fictions publicly, so they want people to read them, right?
Okay, I say this a lot. I think, you know, it is worth repeating. A lot of you people are dumb. Just you guys have uplifted some of the straight up dumbest people possible. So dumb, in fact, that the idea of using this scares them on an instinctual level. Once again, just because someone wrote something, that doesn't mean you have to read it to your stream on a privately owned website that has its own rules. Go to Kick. I'm sure Kick will let you do that. Are they afraid I will read more of Anna's fanfiction? If her fanfiction violates terms of service, they aren't afraid. They'll just ban you. Anna posted the fanfiction publicly so they want people to read them, right? Sure. They can read them on their own terms. You don't have to read them on stream. Like, I don't understand the logic trying to be like, hey, they put it out there, I'm just reporting on it, when what they put out was like explicit pornography. Like, let's work this logic through. Let's say Anna pulled a Mark Kern and just had the most like violent graphic shit out there, and your website you're using says you cannot promote this or say this or show this, and you're like, but why? It's out there. They don't want that shit on their platform. Like, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
With her fans telling her she should read more. But hey, Kersha, the major adult
Kersha, this is your lawyer. Do it. This is your lawyer speaking. Fucking do it. Do it, please.
platform Pornhub is also public, but you aren't that stupid to stream Pornhub videos on your stream, right? So why is fanfiction the exception?
Oh, that's good.
Because of all these tweets, as
That's
well
good.
as the one I made about being an anti-lolicon because one of Kersh's dumbass followers thought it's somehow a red flag to be an anti-lolicon, I somehow landed on Rev Says Desu's hit list.
Okay, I know she's going to talk about him, but I have to say once again, Rev Said Desu is one of the worst fucking people out there because they have no original thoughts. It's just tweets and then, yep, they're trying to cancel and it didn't work out for them. It's like, no, you fucking moron. You don't know how to do research and you're so dumb. I hear how dumb these people are. They're just so dumb. They're so dumb.
I'm flattered Rev took the time to go through some of my stuff. He even remembered me as someone who covered drama, though he misremembered that I stopped doing it. I didn't. I'm just on a mild bit of a YouTube hiatus because I have a life outside of the internet. I don't have the time to make daily slop videos like yourself, Rev.
Fucking got him. They are slop though. They're all terrible slop. It's all bad. All his stuff is though is like clout chasing YouTuber tried to cancel Doki Bird and it backfired. So it backfired horribly. And it's this like fans reject Marvel's cringe Ironheart trailer and Disney is nervous. These titles are so baby brain levels, like psychological priming. And yet you guys gave him a career. This person who dresses up as a fucking VTube anime lolly girl who's like a man in like his fucking 30s or 40s who's married and does this for a living. And yet no one talks about how unwell he has to be. But if someone is trans, oh, they're mentally unwell. They're pedophiles. They're this, they're that. But some allegedly cis man who is married does this and it seems fine and normal to me. The guy who loves lowly stuff, yeah, seems fine and normal.
He called me a hypocrite because he conflated me saying that Kersha endangering minors by reading explicit smut is the same thing as advocating for no adult jokes or adult topics whatsoever because think of the kids.
Yeah, we're not doing this. You really want to make this standard for other people, basically saying you are putting people in danger if you have any sort of adult themes on your stream.
That's not what she said though, right? That's not what she said though, right? Like, that's not what she said at all.
That is what they're running with here. Imagine extending that logic to everything. I haven't heard one word from this individual about lewd tubers who are on Twitch without age restrictions on their content, doing very sexual content. But Kirsha, with an 18+ warning on her stream and across all of her accounts, is somehow getting singled out in this situation. And unfortunately for this person, you can start looking at their own content. If you truly believe that you shouldn't show anything on stream that would be inappropriate for a child watching, well, guess what? We're going to apply that to your content as well.
He proceeded to bring up some of my clips where I make a one-off comment about Sancho railing me.
This is their pinned tweet talking about the type of content that they share with their audience.
The only one I'm hurting is myself and you guys who choose to listen to me talk about how thirsty I am over a fictional character that does not exist and how much I want them to rail me. But that's besides the point.
So again, criticizing Kirsha for reading.
I love the fact that he's so bad at this. I love the fact. No, I know one of these days I'm gonna have to do a video on fucking Rep's desk. But I just love the fact that he comes up with the straw man and just like disgusting. There is a world of difference between saying I want this person to rail me, then graphically reading porn on the internet. Your parents had to bang to make you, unfortunately, right? Would you want to hear the explicit details of that, or just knowing, okay, my parents got it on, and I was here? You see, that's different. You see, that's not the same. You see, that's not the same kind of thing. One is like, yeah, dude, we hooked up. The other is like, okay, well, see, she was wearing this. She got on her knees and she started to, you know what? And like that. There's a complete difference in that, which is why he was being very general. You said you can't allow any adult at all. No one said that. But that's what they have to do. They have to always use generalities.
a fan fiction on her stream because it's endangering children who might be in the audience, but you can talk about fictional characters railing you.
See, again, he said a fan fiction, but he won't tell you what that fan fiction was. He won't tell you the content of it, because then you, a normal person, would be like, wait a minute, yeah, that's completely different. If I say, yeah, dude, I'd hook up with that chick, that's completely different than someone reading to me their 8-hour-long Discord eKitty chat log, okay?
On your stream. And your audience understands that dynamic according to them. So what are we talking about here? The hypocrisy is through the roof.
And how he made assumptions that beyond this clip, I talk in detail about how I want that fictional butch vampire to raw dog me a lot on stream, which I do not because I'm not stupid. Hell, he even brought up my human centipede hypothetical clip, showing only the thumbnail to make it seem like I'm some crazy degenerate who goes into detail.
Oh, look at that. A 5-minute video talking about your favorite positions in a human centipede situation. And honestly, the way they go into graphic detail about how they would want to function in this, it kind of makes sense that they were defending that Anna Vellens clip. I mean, it really just kind of goes one in one.
But no, it's actually pretty whatever, because saying my friend shits a lot so I don't want to be right behind her really isn't explicit, now is it?
I'm just explaining. If hypothetically I had to choose what position I had to be in a human centipede, and the first one was gone, I would have rather be last, so hopefully the person in front of me fucking dies midway through eating shit. That's why I don't have to.
This is just stupid, but it's not like, again, worlds apart from graphically detailing how you'd want to, you know, get railed. Like, this is not the same thing at all.
Rev also brings up how all my comments about inviting Sancho to spend the night with me on a YouTube video about the lad's period tracker drama is somehow super explicit and dangerous for kids. But it's quite literally the most tame thing imaginable. It is cringe though, that much I'll admit.
And you definitely wouldn't be uploading something like this called period trackers are for gooners, and then you say stuff like this in the video.
You know, it never occurred to me that one day I'd be yapping about how a period tracker being added into a video game would suddenly be the spark of controversy, because some people from the cesspool side of the internet who have never talked to a real woman in their lives suddenly think that periods are gooner material. Like, huh? What the hell do you mean by that? The only ones gooning about periods, you know, the thing where women bleed monthly, are probably vampires who want to eat that thing out. Now, on the other hand, if you're a female vampire with short blonde messy hair with a hot red fur...
Oh, so just a cringe joke. This is a cringe joke? It's just a cringy joke.
On one shoulder, and your name is Sancho, you're always welcome in my house, bestie. For the love of God, please. Periods are not something uterus havers can control. It is not sexy to be in pain for a week every month. Getting words of reaffirmation may be, quote, parasocial to an extent, but it's not equivalent to gooning. As somebody who goons regularly to a fictional vampire waifu, please, don't get it twisted, bestie. If these clips were really so bad and damaging for minors, Rev, you wouldn't put this uncensored and unfiltered on your channel.
Oh, got him again. Fucking got him.
Yet he's out here accusing me of making bad faith claims when he's making bad faith assumptions about me based on literally nothing. While I do acknowledge that I probably shouldn't have been super exaggerative in the first place to piss off their side, because we all know how much their side loves to handle exaggeration as quite literal truth, Rev falsely equivalating my adamancy that reading smut is bad to mean that I'm suddenly a hypocritical enemy number one for the occasional dumb adult humor is just completely false. There's no way in hell that you think an innocuous one-off joke is anywhere close to reading literal depictions of sexual intercourse in explicit detail like...
See, but he doesn't though. That's the thing. He doesn't. Most of these people do not believe in anything, okay? Especially the shit they're saying. But he knows he can get a 3-minute or 5-minute or 6-minute video out of that because he's a slob tuber. He needs something. He needs anything. So they do this type of shit.
Kersha chose to do live on stream for nearly 15 minutes. One is quite literally corn, and it's not the one-off joke. Rev brings up me talking about Gooning Tuesday and bringing out the jiggly physics because I canonically am flat as a board, as you can see.
So here's one of their recent streams, Gooning Tuesday. Yes, they're bringing out the jiggle physics, which of course they're playing Nikke. And here's a clip from it. This is what they're playing and doing on their own stream while saying that Kirsha is endangering children because they read a fan fiction.
And
once again, saying they're reading a fan fiction and not going into detail is precisely an intentional act. Also, women with titties isn't gonna ruin kids. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we talking about? What's the point being made there?
how I played and had one clip of Nikke be, quote, dangerous for kids. But are they for real? For all its goonery, it's not illegal, nor is it extremely explicit to stream Nikke on Twitch. If it was, there wouldn't be a playable category for Nikke. There isn't one for Honey Pop, for instance, because that is straight up corn. But Nikke is a game rated T for teens in the Google Play Store for suggestive themes. And on the Apple Store, it's rated 12 for mild sex.
Infrequent / mild, mature / suggestive theme / frequent / intense cartoon or fantasy violence, infrequent / mild sexual content and nudity.
Sexual themes. If Nikke is rated for teens despite the outlandish shit that's in there, then the shit that I say is by far one of the most tamest things. Trying to go, aha, you're a danger to kids when this game is playable by kids is the funniest thing I've seen Rev ever try to claim.
Also, and I cannot say this enough, Kirsha espouses white supremacist rhetoric. That is infinitely more harmful than any amount of jiggle physics one could put in a video game, okay? So this argument on its face is laughable. The shit that she talks about is way more harmful.
Compare that to Kirsha reading quite literal 18+ rated content on Archive of Our Own, explicitly about penetration and a focus on genitalia. Yeah, that's more damaging to a kid than one-off jokes. Rev also thought it was a gotcha moment when I must be a super hypocrite being an anti-lolicon playing Nikke when supposedly there's lolly fan service in the game.
Would you play this in front of children? I don't think so. So if you're gonna hold Kirsha to this standard, well, guess what? It's gonna be held to you as well. And I also find it very ironic they're playing Nikke while claiming to be also anti-lolly, despite the fact that there's lolly fan service in Nikke. Just another example of their hypocrisy.
To clarify, I played Nikke for the first and only time on April Fool's Day as a joke because my core community knows I'm asexual and not a fan of gooner-heavy gotcha games. Beyond going through the Nikkepedia at chat's request.
Nikke's a gotcha game? I know nothing about that game, I'm gonna be honest. I know it's a gotcha game. I thought it was pronounced Nikke the whole time too.
That was genuinely just focused more on the story and gameplay, which by the way was pretty neat. But I didn't care for any of the lolly Nikkes and still don't. As for my personal thoughts on lolicons, it just isn't my thing because I've seen how degenerate and disgusting lolicons are with how so many people openly thirst over lewd depictions of fictional children.
I'll say it straight up, lolicons are pedos. I'll say it straight up, lolicons are pedos.
It makes me deeply uncomfortable, but I have never gone so far as to call lolicons PDFs because
I just did a bunch of times. They are.
I'm aware that, for the most part, these aren't depictions of real children, but genuine PDFs do and have used lolly art to groom children. I was groomed myself growing up, something I bet his fans wouldn't give a rat's ass about and would probably tell me I deserved it. But the normalization of this fetish art is dangerous because of genuine, actual PDFs that lurk within their ranks. I hate that stuff, and that's it. Keep it to yourself, and if you're a normal functioning human otherwise, cool, I got no issues as long as you keep that shit far away from me. But trying to get that normalized and accepted by the wider community will always be met with backlash because you guys seriously do have a PDF and a groomer problem within those that like lolly and shota stuff. I'm sorry if you hate hearing that, but you can't be ignorant of it either. Anyway, I went on a bit of a tirade, but the point is, Rev's call out and depiction of me as a pure hypocrite is by far stupid. He exaggerates, conflating the things I said to the extreme when it was never about the extreme in the first place. Actual pornography, such as reading explicit fanfiction, is quite literally damaging to a growing minor's mind, but nothing I've ever said or done ever equates to the same level of graphic and explicit adult material. If you can't see the difference on the scale—
Okay, so this is just a wrap up, right? Yeah, just a wrap up. So, yeah, I think it is completely. First off, it is nice. It is nice to see a VTuber who's not some crazed fucking right-wing individual. So kudos on that. What's your name again? Saphera? I'm gonna call you just Denoma. Good kudos on that. But yeah, it's so hilarious to me that all of this happens every time one of these fucking losers gets caught doing something that they did and having to face a consequence. Not even a severe one, a day ban. But it becomes the biggest thing in the world because how dare they face a consequence? They are untouchable. But you, their enemy, you should face all the consequences. So if I go and dig up through your past and read your very, very, very explicit fan fictions on a website that specifically says I cannot do that and I get in trouble, that's your fault. I made 150 videos about you and you made one video about me? No, that's not fair. You forced me to make these videos and now you're forced me to retaliate because you retaliated one time. Like, it's all this cry bully bullshit. And then their fans, they know their fans will just start brigading stuff, right? Because they are losers. People who are healthy individuals, who are mentally and emotionally set, do not do the shit that these guys do. And to top it off, you have losers like Rev who literally make shit up just to have a video. Like, it's insane to me. It's so crazy to me. YouTube, man. Internet, really, but goddamn.